Hello, everyone, and welcome to Photographer Profile episode number 3. My name is Nathan Rupert, and I've been a San Diego photographer for over 18 years. In my career, I've uploaded over 45,000 pictures onto Flickr. I've met some amazing photographers. It saddens me today that most social media platforms encourage video over photography. They promote reels, and many photographers, including myself, have amazing shots sitting on the web or on our external hard drives, and they never really get the proper exposure and analysis that they might deserve. That is a reason why I created this YouTube channel. Along the way, I hope we can get some wild or hilarious stories as well. So without further delay, my guest today is Isaac. Hi, Isaac. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Nathan? I'm doing all right.
Do you just want to give us a brief introduction about yourself and your photography?
My name's Isaac Rauscher. Just call it Isaac Rauscher Fine Art. I'm more focused on the art aspect of photography. I don't have a lot of experience technically with photography, though just learning stuff on my own, really. Something I picked up a few years ago. It became a big passion of mine, like pretty much overnight.
Where are you located for the viewers watching?
I'm in East County, San Diego.
Okay.
I've been a musician, and so art has always been a thing for me. So now I'm a musician and a photographer, which is kind of cool.
You can create some of your own music background tracks as people look at your photos to enjoy
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I've thought about doing that. It's got it like on Spotify and stuff, but I've tried doing that on my TikTok channel before. But
Yes.
there's a whole weird thing going on with the band, and so the tracks that we have on Spotify, we had to take them down. Then we're putting up new ones and stuff. So that's a transitional thing. So whenever the band is kind of down for a while, then I get more time to work on my photography. So I can never put 100% into either one. And one takes up a lot more of my time than the other one. They both have to cater to my families. I got kids and my wife works pretty much every day. So
Oh,
I try
wow.
to squeeze things in, and my little one does softball. Anybody out there with kids in softball knows she does all stars. So there's most of your summers every single day for that. But I
You're a
wouldn't trade.
softball dad.
I am. I am. It's awesome. Love doing that.
You might need to get into some sports photography to help the team out
Oh
there.
man, I thought about that before, but I don't know. I never dabbled with it. I dabbled a teeny tiny bit with portrait photography, but my like artistic side always controls everything, and I can't just do like a professional looking portrait thing. I've always got to make it weird, so
Yeah.
I'm like, well, whatever.
So would you say music and photography are your two hobbies? Do you have any other hobbies that you like to pursue?
No, I get completely wrapped up in one or the other or both of these at the same time. And
Yeah.
no, I there would be no time left for anything else. That's good because I can't afford anything else either. It's expensive enough.
Are you a full-time professional photographer or non-professional? How would you
No,
classify yourself?
I'm totally non-professional. I don't get paid. I just make limited edition pieces that I sell through my website. I've got representation with MK Envision Galleries.
Nice.
They're a San Diego gallery that focuses on local photographers. But no, I don't do professional photography at all. I pay my bills with my pool cleaning business.
There you go. And what kind of gear do you use?
The only camera I've ever bought is my Nikon D7500,
Okay.
and I have 5 or 6 lenses for it, but I pretty much only use my 10 to 20.
The wide angle or super
Like
wide angle.
99% of the time. Yeah, I'm just weird like that. I put that lens on, I fell in love with it, and I never took it off. I put filters on it, and I take those
Okay.
off.
What filters do you use for the landscape shots usually?
Because I like to do sunset stuff. A lot of times I'll use ND 1000 really dark glass because I like to also do long exposures. So of course, you can't do that with a light filter. It's got to be really dark. But
Right.
then I like to use gradual filters also. It depends on the day and what's going on. But yeah,
And,
most of the time it's an ND 1000 on a wide angle lens.
and have you ever traveled for photography, shot landscapes in another
God, I
country, or
wish.
gone anywhere?
I wish. The furthest I went to Laguna Niguel one time. That's about it. No, I'm
There
way
you
too
go.
Yeah, I'm way too busy. And I've traveled a little bit with the band, but I haven't had an opportunity to travel to do photography yet. I think it would be really awesome. There's lots of cool places to go, but no, but not yet.
So, what would you say is the best piece of photography advice or the life advice you've received? It's a tough one. I know. I know.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I have a buddy who taught me how to use my camera. I've studied a little bit of Brooke Shaden and Peter Lick. I like both of those photographers a lot. But as far as advice, I'm really not sure. Like, probably the best advice would be, quotes from like Ansel Adams that I've looked up online and things like that.
So, how do you feel about AI and photography, the big buzzword of the past year? Have you thought about that
Uh,
at
yes,
all?
I have. I don't know what to think of that. I'm sure it's going to end up being a cool thing. People are using them to create images now. And of course, like if you try to enter photography competition like IPA or something, they're going to know if you submit an AI image. So you can't really cheat that way with stuff. So it's probably just going to end up being another tool. These things are always weird when they first happen. And then down the road, we find out that it's a really cool thing. So I think the jury's going to have to be out on that one for a while, but I'm sure it'll be pretty cool.
I just thought it'd be interesting to see what happens in the next, 5, 10 years in terms of how photography changes or doesn't change.
Maybe the AI will help us discover new methods and ideas for photography and help us take it to a whole nother level.
For those photographers that make their living on selling stock photography, this might be bad because AI
Yeah,
can generate any image it wants. And those people that make their living, with Getty stock photography, that might be a big hit to them. So that is
yeah,
a good point you made there.
yeah, it is. That whole stock photography thing is interesting. I'm just dabbling in it a little bit. I think I went through Adobe and I put in a few pictures, just regular old, sunset on the beach pictures or whatever, just to see what happens. You're submitting images along with millions and millions of images. So if AI comes into, that's just going to be more millions of images. I've sold a few on the stock photography thing. I think I made
Oh,
$3.
nice.
It might be
I
up to
hope you
stay.
did. I hope you didn't spend that all in one place, did you? That $3 you made.
Yeah, they didn't actually send me the money yet. I think you have to build up like $100 before they actually send it to you. I'm not sure yet. Haven't gotten that far. But yeah, I suppose if there's people that earn a living off of stock photography, I didn't even know you could sell enough to earn a living off of that.
Another hard hitting question. What do you want to happen to your photos when you die, when you pass away? What would you like to happen to your photos? Anything?
I guess the same thing that I want to happen to them while I'm alive. I just want them to end up in the hands of somebody who feels something from them
Yeah.
and connects with them emotionally somehow and it inspires them. And so, it'd be the same thing whether I'm alive or dead, kind of irrelevant. That's why I like to only offer my prints on acrylic because it's on silver halide HD paper too, and so it's going to last a long time, and it looks great.
Yeah.
That's a very odd question. I like it.
You sign photos,
Well, yeah, I do
limited
it.
prints.
It's digitally signed. The signature's under the glass, so the numbers are also under the glass. That also protects the signature and the number on each piece. Yeah,
Pretty smart way to do it.
I think a lot of people are doing it that way, but I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot of people in the business, so I don't know too many people are doing. But I know doing it this way works out pretty good. I've got a few of them of my own in the house, and sometimes it's kind of weird if the signature is too bright. So it's nice to bring that down a little bit.
It could
But
distract from the photo if it's too bright.
yeah, it can. If you make it a little transparent and then it's still there enough to see it and it's legible, but it doesn't like, hey, this is my. It's not all about me. It's about the
Yeah,
image.
yeah.
But if a collector is going to buy, I'm sure they're going to want it. They want to have it there. So it kind of a technicality, like it needs to be there. You don't want to take away from what's going on with this image. And somebody's
Yeah.
looking at it. They want to look at the image. So yeah, I've learned to tone that back.
This is a new question I just thought of from a previous interview. If you could take a portrait of any celebrity, what celebrity would you love to do a portrait session or photography session with?
Do they have to be alive?
No, they don't have to be live.
Because I think the first one that comes to mind would be Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
I think that would be
Nice.
fun.
He would have some crazy outfits for that shoot.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he would be really photogenic, and I think he would just be fun to hang out with for half hour or something.
I think so too. So you sent me some of your photos ahead of time. We were going to take a look at them. Let me go ahead and share the screen here. 1 second. Okay. How does that look to you?
Looks
Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and tell everyone about this photo here.
So this was intentional camera movement. This is a single exposure done in Pacific Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything I've done is in San Diego, and probably the majority of it La Jolla. But this one I think was in Pacific Beach, so it's just a shot of the ocean at sunset, but with slight camera movement during a long exposure. And
It's a cool effect.
I thought the colors came out great on it.
How long do you think this exposure?
Man, that's a tough one.
I
I'm
know you
not
said
sure.
use a 10 stop, which those exposures can be pretty long.
Yeah, it might be like 10 seconds, from 3 seconds to 10 seconds. I've tried a couple of shots a little bit longer than that, but you start getting hot spots. But I have noticed though a lot of in between 1 second and 3 seconds really adds a lot of like peacefulness and serenity to the ocean.
Yeah, I like this one. This one is very peaceful.
Yeah, that's what I like to shoot for.
Okay, let's take a look at your next one here. Let me share real fast. All right, go ahead and tell us about this photo, Flight of Beauty.
This one sat on my computer for maybe 4 years before I did anything with it. This is obviously a composite. Those butterflies are not real. The flowers are real. The flowers were actually at a customer's house, one of my swimming pool customers. Sometimes like to bring my camera with me when I'm working, just in case I catch something somewhere. But they had these flowers, and I thought they were really cool the way they were set up in the front yard. So one image is just the flowers, and there's kind of like sidewalk going around the flowers that I didn't really like too much, but I really like the flowers. These butterflies are from a different image, and so I put them in there. I just thought they were kind of a cool touch to give it a little bit of surreal, kind of magical feel to the picture. The whole gist of this picture for the colors, it's all about the color, the purple and the greens to pop. But the butterflies, I wanted to give it a little bit of action, a little bit of storyline to it. So it's a composite image.
It just makes you happy looking at this, right?
Yeah,
Makes you ready for spring.
right. It's very in your face with the colors. And I used to do a lot of flower stuff, and I haven't in a while. And until I found this one recently, I think I just made this one last week. I was just going through images on my computer, started doodling with these flowers in it. And when I got rid of all the background and gave it some depth, I thought it was kind of cool. So I rolled with it. I might actually do some more flower stuff after this because I have one other one that I'm currently working on that's also got the purples and the greens in it.
I love shooting flowers as well.
Oh, I was going to ask you, have you ever done any macro photography?
Yes, but intermediate level. I have 100 millimeter macro lens,
Uh-huh.
but I have not done with like a crazy, sometimes they add a box to it and people buy dedicated,
Yeah.
even more specialized macro lenses. I haven't got to that level, but I have used my 100 millimeter
That's
macro
cool.
lens. Yeah.
That's cool. I still haven't experimented with that yet. I probably will one day. It sounds really cool. I saw there's some Russian photographer who does exclusively macro photography of insects.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's amazing. He caught this ant, and this ant was holding up like this little tiny stick, but he had the sun in the background behind this ant, holding this stick up over his head like he was a champion. It, I was like, well, macro photography would be really cool. Like you can catch something like that going on, and who knows what you'll catch inside flowers. That would be really cool.
I can't imagine just how hard it is to capture an ant when I stood there for an hour trying to capture a bee in flight on the flowers. I don't.
Right?
It takes a
And
lot of patience to be a macro
yeah,
photographer.
yeah, I would think so. I think that would be the challenge to it, though. But if you could pull it off, it's really cool. And now, everybody gets to see this cool looking ant carrying this stick that's like 20 times his own size. Maybe one of these days.
Let me go to your third photo here. This is my favorite of the ones that you sent me. Amazingly beautiful.
I
This
really like this one too. The colors are really soft. They're
I feel like
soft.
I'm in heaven. I feel like I'm in heaven, floating,
Right?
floating above the world, just looking
Kind
at
of want to
this.
get in there and just kind of hang out. I would like to see what this one looks like printed up at 55 inches. I think that would be cool.
Is
So
this two photos put together?
I just cut it. I cut out the sky, and then I duplicated it and reversed it vertically. So it's a mirror effect.
Okay.
So the bottom half of the image is the top half of the image, but stretched out a little bit to kind of give it some depth. And it's as simple as that, really.
Was the
Oh,
top half from a sunset in Pacific Beach?
I don't know. Probably not Pacific Beach. I'm not real sure. Somewhere in San Diego. It would
Okay.
either be La Jolla or maybe Sunset Cliffs, but probably La Jolla. I think 9 out of 10 times that I go shooting, I go to La Jolla.
I love going to the tide pools there and trying to capture the sunset reflecting in the little droplets
Me
of
too. That
water.
place, and when the tide is really, really low, that place is so awesome. I don't know if you've been there when it's super low and you got all that green grass covering the rocks.
I think I have seen that a couple times. I don't go there too often, maybe a few times a year.
It's pretty cool. If you ever get the chance, you should check it out. Yeah, La Jolla is awesome for photography.
Okay. Now let's take a look at the last photo you sent me. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, go ahead and talk us through this photo.
Okay, this one is a little more complicated. The original image of the face is my daughter when she was, I think, 6 or 7. The concept of the image, it's kind of representing how life has a tendency to run us over and tries to break us. We have to learn to overcome that. The only way we can overcome that is by going deep within ourselves and finding the inspiration to keep going and to overcome whatever obstacles. So the face is broken because life broke it. Now, I overlaid her face with a picture of pavement from a parking lot. So that's how it
Oh.
gets the texture that's on there to give more road wear. I guess you
Yeah.
could. That was overlaid over the picture of her face, and then I broke all of that up into pieces. For the light behind her is the moon, a separate picture of the
Okay.
moon. So that's representing the light that's inside, that's trying to break out and overcome what's going on. And basically had this as just the face with the moon for like 2 years, and I was calling it broken. I didn't feel like I was finished with it.
The butterflies.
Well, yeah, the butterflies again, because I love the butterflies. And they kind of represent freedom because they can fly around. They're doing whatever they want. But then I used another image that I had. I think it was a sunset image to get the kind of haziness behind the face and the glowing that's going on back there. That's the concept. It kind of has a little deeper meaning to it. I looked at it more from a painter type perspective
Right.
rather than a photographer perspective. And the only photography in there was the face done with a phone, and then the background.
Has she seen this
Right.
picture? What you did to her? What you did to her face?
Oh yeah, she loves it. No, she loves it. She loves.
That's good.
I she, yeah, she loves the photography. So she's my model once in a while. She's gone down to the beach with me to do photo shoots at sunset and stuff too. She likes to play along with it.
That's great. You have easy access to a model for your
Yeah,
photography.
once in a while. I mean, she's 10 though, so she's a little, you only got her attention for a little bit.
Okay, and all of these are on your website. We'll give her your information at the end, but just to clarify, these are all available on your website, correct?
Yeah, they're all on the website. Right now, I think I probably have about 15-ish images on my website. I got a lot more that I want to do. There's still some images that I had that I really like that I want to put on there, but working on it still.
Okay.
It takes a
And,
while to build the website.
yeah, and as photographers, choosing what images we want to put on a website, that can be a hard decision when you have hundreds of images.
Yeah,
Which ones will people like?
right. And sometimes you think, well, nobody's gonna like that one, but then that ends up being one that a lot of people like. So then it makes it even tougher because just when you think you don't know. I go so back and forth. I have a hard time. I get so indecisive about stuff. My website has changed dramatically, probably 2 or 3 times now. But you know what? That's life, I guess.
Do you have a dream shot that you'd like to achieve in your mind?
No, I don't actually. I don't think any of them ever started out that way. And I write music the same way. There's a starting point that
Hmm.
just kind of appears. I kind of read the story as I'm going. It's very similar with playing guitar and writing songs. A lot of times I'll just hit a note and then the song kind of starts writing itself through my fingers, and
Wow.
the photography is kind of the same way. Like, I think I'll take my camera out today, and you just drive somewhere and you end up somewhere, and then you see something. So then you get your camera out and you start taking pictures, and then 3 weeks later you're going through all your images on your computer. Sorry, I had to lift my computer up because it's overheating. Um, and
No
then
problem.
you end up seeing a picture, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, there's something there. So yeah, and I think it's more fun that way anyway. It's like I'm not really controlling it. Somebody, higher up than me is controlling it through me, and I'm more like I'm just an antenna,
Yeah,
and that's
that has happened to me too. I'll go to shoot a sunset, but it's overcast or it's a bad sunset. But I ended up getting a really cool picture of a bird or a surfer. That happens a lot to photographers. I think we just get
yeah,
inspired being in that general location.
right. It's like your higher self was directing you there. If you were trying to be rational about it, you might not even, but you ended
True,
up anyway.
true. Do you have any weird or wild stories, any crazy encounters anytime you went to go shoot the sunset or do your photography? Anything that you can think of?
I've gotten fallen in the water and fallen down the rocks a bunch of times, and all the normal stuff everybody else goes through.
Did you
Uh,
destroy your gear when you fell, or you're able to
no,
save
no.
it?
Yeah, my camera is pretty durable. It's taken a beating a few times, and it's got splashed in salt water. It's gotten dropped in the sand and a lot. It's taken a beating, but that thing still keeps going.
Water boots when you shoot in high
I
water or tide?
I've tried boots. I've ended up filling them up with water. That didn't work out too good.
Mhm.
I tried so many things, flip
Yeah.
flops. I just going barefoot. I bought some water shoes this year. I might try
Oh,
those
nice.
out. It's good to have something on your feet. Most of the time, you're gonna get wet, unless you're one of
Yeah,
those guys that just sits up at the top of the cliff with a 5-foot lens shooting the surfers. Those guys are pretty cool.
I always try to buy lenses that are at least water resistant, especially living here in San Diego, being so close to the ocean.
And that's the other cool thing about those filters. I always have a filter on, so that's protecting my lens. Then I just got to basically worry about the rest of the camera, the box and stuff. I've gotten really lucky.
I think we're almost done here. How can people find you and your work?
You can't find me. I am nowhere to be found. I'm completely.
Your illusion. This interview is illusion.
I suppose if somebody wanted to find me, just go to my website, isaac.rauscher.net. I've got Instagram and Facebook too.
Links to all that in the description of the video as well for people watching. Any final thoughts you want to give to our viewers before we end the interview here?
I don't know. Nothing's coming to me. This was fun though. Thanks for inviting me on. I'm glad I did it. I'm always hesitant with anything that involves being social at all. I appreciate the opportunity to do this.
For sharing your pictures.
I love sharing my pictures. I really hope that your podcast and what you're trying to do is successful because, I think photographers need a bigger spotlight.
I actually went to the Liberty Station Art Walk today and talked to a bunch of photographers there. Got some business cards. Hopefully we'll have more great interviews lined up soon. If you want to send me a link to your music, I can put that in the video description.
The band,
as well.
The band's Sleeping. Yeah, it's called Sleeping Faceless. We have to re-record the whole thing now.
Yikes.
That's a ton of work. I don't know if you've ever been involved with a band at all, but that's a lot of work recording all that. I'll be busy.
Well, good luck with that, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, man. I hope I run into you somewhere sometime, Nathan.
I'll be shooting the sunset, look over, and there you're shooting the same sunset. Well, have a good night, Isaac. Bye.
Bye.